You want to ensure that your kid has a secure financial future, but where do you begin? While there is no one-size-fits-all approach, for some families, a children's brokerage account may be quite beneficial. In this video, we will talk about kids' brokerage accounts and why parents should consider investing in their children. Welcome to our YouTube channel, and before we begin the video, smash the like button and share the video and subscribe to the channel. Let's get started. What's the difference between a UTMA and a kid's brokerage account? A kid may have two sorts of investing accounts, depending on one important factor, whether or not they have earned revenue. A children's investment account will be a UTMA if they do not have any earned income, or UGMA. The Uniform Gifts to Minor Act regulates that giving of gifts to minors or uniform transfers to minor acts. Your child's brokerage account, on the other hand, may be a custodial IRA, provided he or she has a documented source of income. You'd probably start a custodial Roth IRA, but consulting a tax professional may help you make the best decision for your family's financial position. Then they may put away a portion of their earnings for retirement. What is a kid's brokerage account? It's exactly what it sounds like, a brokerage account for children. It's a brokerage account geared at kids and teenagers. These accounts are frequently referred to as custodial accounts, since they are held by kids who do not have legal authority over their money until they reach maturity. Why would parents want to create a brokerage account for their children? It isn't only about accumulating riches, though it is an important aspect. Another reason to start a custodial account is to teach your kid about the importance of saving and investing. There is no alternative for hands-on learning. According to research, I understand. That is to say, you may tell all the anecdotes and jokes you want, but the greatest way to make a money lesson strict is for youngsters to work with money. This is where a kid's brokerage account comes in handy. You may educate your children about various investment kinds as well as risk levels. You may also utilize a kid's brokerage account to talk about the importance of creating financial goals. A kid's brokerage account presents a variety of instructional opportunities. Of course, if you're seeking a flexible strategy to develop money, you should explore this sort of account. This brokerage account may help you save for certain future milestones like a wedding or for a financial buffer in general. Before you open a kid's brokerage account, there are a few things you should know. Are you prepared to create a brokerage account for your children? Not so fast. It's inspiring to consider how big of an influence you can have on your children's futures. It's easy to get swept up in enthusiasm. However, there are several measures you should do before creating a brokerage account for your children. Put on your own oxygen mask. If you've ever traveled, you're familiar with the procedure of first putting on your own oxygen mask. It's true for aircraft, and it's true for money as well. You should make sure your finances are solid before opening a kid's brokerage account and starting to fund it with your own money. That includes making sure you've dealt with high-interest debt, or at the very least, having a strategy in place to deal with it. It's also a good idea to set aside money for an emergency fund. Invest in your retirement. The next item on your to-do list before creating a custodial account is to plan for your retirement. You don't have to pay for your whole retirement, attain financial independence, or accomplish coast fire. However, you should ensure that you have a 401k plan or a Roth IRA set up via your employer. Your children may borrow money for education, marriages, houses, and pretty much anything else. You are unable to take out a loan to fund your retirement. Get college squared away. You don't need to put away six figures for education. However, you should be certain that you have a strategy in place. This may mean putting money into a 529 plan and letting compound interest work its magic. You might also start talking about scholarships and non-traditional options like trade school and community college. It's worth nothing that 529s may be used to pay for them, and if your kid receives a scholarship, you can withdraw the funds penalty-free. Create a brokerage account for your children. It's time to create that custodial account after you've made sure to get a head start on your personal money and budget it for one of the first major costs your children will face as adults. As with any sort of investment, you should consider the following tactics: user-friendliness, fees and transparencies, reputation. Advantages of kids' brokerage account versus 529. 529 college saving programs have a lot to offer. However, there are certain disadvantages. The money in a 529 plan is set aside for education. Typically, they are intended to defray the costs of attending college or university. The money may also be used for some K-12 costs and trade schools. However, if you use the money for a non-qualifying educational cost, you'll have to pay a 10% charge in ordinary income tax on the account's gains. With a children's brokerage account, this is not the case. Instead, the funds may be used towards important life events like a first automobile, a wedding, a down payment on a home, or even college. It may also expand over time to provide further financial stability as your kid enters maturity. How a brokerage impacts college admissions. Perhaps you've heard that brokerages have an influence on college admissions. To some degree, this is correct. Nobody will refuse your child because they have a brokerage account. However, a children's brokerage account may have an influence on the kind and quality of assistance they get. A 5-to-9 plan is seen as a parent asset, but a children's brokerage account is regarded as a student asset. That means that when it comes time to fill out the FAFSA form to check whether they qualify for any governmental financial assistance, the brokerage account may restrict their eligibility more than a 5-to-9. The power of time and compound interest. To keep things simple, assume you make a $10,000 initial contribution and never contribute another cent to your children's brokerage account. If the money grows at an annual rate of 8% for 18 years, it will be worth about $40,000. However, it's possible that they won't touch the money until they're 25. That $10,000 is now worth more than $68,000. What if they keep the money in the brokerage till they're 67 years old? Thanks to compound interest, the $10,000 is now worth more than $1.7 million. There are, of course, a variety of different options for funding the account. Maybe you only have $100 or $1,000 to start with. Then when your kid receives money for birthdays and holidays, you add to it. Perhaps they will elect to donate money from domestic tasks or allowance when they are older. The longer time your money spends in a brokerage account, the more compound interest it will grow, regardless of how you invest. Play around with a compound interest calculator for a few minutes to experience the power of time in the market. Make it a family affair if you can. This is the finest math magic trick you can show your kids if they're a little older. Conclusion on a children's brokerage account. A custodial account is a great approach to teach youngsters about money management and investment. It may also help people plan for a better financial future in 5, 10, or 50 years. While this is unlikely to be the first item on your family's financial to-do list, it is something to think about. That's all from today's video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.